Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. Just saw a wonderful new film. I thought it was wonderful. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Not Stephen King's It. If our buddy there, John Krasinski, straight from The Office. We all knew him. We all loved him. Actually, I didn't watch The Office until it was in the can, and I caught up, and I was actually watching his horror films, the Quiet Place movies, I believe, before The Office in my chronological order of things. But comes out strong with this family film, kids movie, but I think everyone can go see it. Everyone would enjoy it. I don't think there's anyone that wouldn't like this movie, unless perhaps you're very cynical and so forth, and I can be. But I thought this movie was quite good, okay? And now I'm going to discuss it. So if you're thinking about seeing it, I would go see it. If you're thinking, I'll skip this one, this purple hunk of shit looks kind of weird, I would still go see it. I did not see a lot of previews for this one. I did not see a whole lot of commercials. I saw a tinge. And on the social media world, I started to see a few headlines, a few review thumbnails and stuff, and I wisely avoided any details because I'm telling you, people have this is like a weird vehicle in the parking lot here. It looks like something from Back to the Future. Bizarre, but odd. I don't know what the fuck. It's just some bizarre vehicle. It's very interesting. So, this movie, what's it all about, Sammy? Well, first off, it's the Hollywood elite. I guess I'll say spoilers, by the way. A lot of voices of these animated, mythical creatures, these imaginary friends, voices that I actually didn't recognize. I saw Steve Carell's name listed in the opening credits, and I said, oh, gee whiz, Steve Carell, and I kept waiting for him to show up. Guess what, folks? He's blue all along. I didn't realize that was his voice. So a mini Office, Jim and the boss guy, mini Office reunion. I always like to see that. Now that I'm an Office fan, I wasn't until 6 years ago, perhaps. But what a movie! I mean, the Tina Turner "Can't You Be Good to Me" soliloquy, that 5-minute or so. I mean, that's just a slice of magic in my book. Okay. I thought that was great. I mean, I think the movie, this movie could just be, really, that's just like the linchpin of this film, that sequence. And, the movie was a little slow before that, to be honest with you, but I liked that. I liked that the movie took its time getting to where it was going. A few cliches early on, a few cinematic cliches we're getting used to. The opening montage of the perfect little family, the mother, the father, that are dancing together, and the kid watches mom and dad dance. That seems to be the way with these movies. It's either like you go see some dramatic movie and the parents are dysfunctional and want to kill each other and the kid grows up in the shadows of thus, or it's some whimsical, perfect family where the parents dance together in front of the kids, and then we have to kill off one of the parents like right away. So as soon as I saw that this movie started with the whimsical dancing and the montage and look how wonderful this fucking family is and how happy everyone is, I knew that someone was dying, and it turns out to be the mom. So sorry, Mom, you gotta go. So then, we grow up in the shadows of depression or whatever the fuck, and now, God, we're 10 minutes into this thing, and dear old dad is about to drop himself. He's put in this hospital. Was it kind of just a vague thing, which is fine. They didn't really say what ailment he had, but he's got to get some type of surgery where there's, some type of death chance. Although he seems confident that there won't be. The little daughter, B, is confident that she might lose another parent. Oh boy, sad. So, so we meet the nurse, who seems to always be there. I guess she works 24 hours a day. And what else? We meet good old dad, which is our writer-director friend, once again, Krasinski. Now, what I do like about Krasinski is that he does shoehorn himself into these movies, which is a good way to get himself another paycheck, because he's getting his writer paycheck, he's getting his director paycheck, and he's getting all those wonderful royalties for this movie. Smart move, John, if I can call you that. Also, good for him, you know, as a tall man. I think he's 6'5", 6'6", so he's kind of like the most successful tall actor since Tim Robbins, which is something to say. I mean, I'm pretty tall in height as well, not quite at those inordinate heights, but I'm fairly tall, so I know what it's like. So anyway, keep going. The kid actor, I thought, did a good job. I mean, I'm kind of flashing ahead, but I thought the kid actor did a good job of being surprised when she starts seeing all these creatures and all these, you know, imaginary friends and so forth. And then she kind of had her, like, you know, Hulk Hogan, Miss Elizabeth moment when she's at her daddy's hospital bed and she's holding his hand and, like, she's crying and she's getting her mouth all full of fucking spit and spittle and her fucking tears are dripping down her face. And you know that Krasinski and whoever the fuck was on the set that day was like, oh my God, she's so amazing. She's going to win an Oscar someday. Oh my God. Like, they were all so excited that this kid actor could cry on demand and garner all the emotions necessary. But, you know, I thought she did a good job. Like I said, it was very much Hulk Hogan, Miss Elizabeth, bedside manner. I guess this kid could have taught Hulk Hogan how to act at the bedside manner, you know, if she was alive in 1988, which I'm sure she wasn't. She was probably -30 at that point. But in any event, what a movie. I just, like I said, that whole Tina Turner sequence, I guess, see, here was one thing about the movie that I was trying to figure out, because we did see in John Krasinski's character, Dad's character's hospital room, there was a prop that I thought was distracting. Once again, I said this in another recent review, the high-def TV that was in his hospital room that wasn't on. So if he's got a high-def TV, then we know that his time... Now, I'm just going to provide some conjecture here in this movie, because I don't know if anyone else has been saying this, or is this a known thing, or I'm just making shit up. But basically, he's got this high-def TV, which would make you think, okay, he's in the timeline of post-2007. The kid in the other hospital room, which we never really got to the bottom of his story, he's got a broken leg, he's got a broken arm, a broken whatever the fuck, and it's like, is this kid... There are two possibilities with this kid. Either he's the victim of child abuse and he's getting his ass kicked by some asshole person who's beating this kid up and breaking all his bones, or he's got, like, the weak bone condition, you know, like people that there's a, I don't know what it's called, but I think there's one or two conditions like that where you have just very weak bones and you're just apt to, your bones just break. And I had a teacher in my childhood who she was walking around with like a cane sometimes, and she was always kind of in pain, and, like, you know, she explained to us one day, like, hey, you asshole fucking suburban kids, stop making fun of me, because this is my problem. I have this fucked up condition. So we all felt bad. Now, what else? So, yeah, we never figured out what's up with that kid. And we never really, like, there's some unanswered questions with this movie. I hope they don't force a sequel. I think this would be a good movie where 20 years from now, they could have a sequel. Like, kind of like, okay, we have this movie If, leave it alone, let it simmer for a generation or two. And kind of like the Willy Wonka, where, like, you know, the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka, I think, fell flat, but I think the recent Willy Wonka was fine. So I think you could revisit this movie, but give it 20 years. Like, let's play this game now, because now we're seeing this whole thing with these movies are having these sequels that are 20 years in the making with Top Gun Maverick and these other movies. Why not wait a generation to have a sequel to this movie? You know what I mean? Like, can we plan that? I mean, Krasinski, he's probably 45 or so. So, I mean, he'll still be alive in 20 years. And the B kid, if she's still acting, she'll be, you know, in her 30s, I guess. So we could do a nice sequel. So the big, once again, spoiler alert, the big surprise, see, I thought we were headed somewhere else. I thought there was a moment in this movie where the kid with the broken leg and the bad arm and everything, and he couldn't see any of the imaginary friends, but he said to the little girl B at the end of that sequence, but you're still my friend. And I thought at this moment, because that kid also didn't have a TV that worked in his room, he kept referencing that his TV didn't work. And I kept thinking, is this kid like in some different time zone? Like, because it felt like at different times because the cat was watching Kurt Loder on MTV. It felt like this movie was taking place like in 1992 or 93 or 94. And they were having like nostalgia for the mid 80s with Tina Turner's album. But then Krasinski's hospital bed room threw that off because he's got the HD TV. So I was wondering, is there some type of time play in this thing? And then it got me wondering, with that little kid couldn't see the other imaginary friends, but he could see the little girl. Could he see the Ryan Reynolds character? I don't remember, to tell you the truth. But he could see B, and my thought was, is B dead? Like, is B in the realm of the dead? Did she die in some type of accident with her mother? And her father, who's like in the normal world that we're in, holding on to life, but she's kind of a conduit. She's kind of a, what do you call it? Like a transfer character. Like, she's in between worlds, the kid. So she, for whatever, like, she's kind of dead, or she's kind of in this purgatory state. So I was thinking the big reveal, because I knew that we were headed to a big reveal. I mean, this is the type of movie that's like, okay, where's the big reveal? So I thought the big reveal that was basically that B was like some type of ghost, or B was a fucking imaginary friend. Like, B is actually dead, and now her fate is to be this, the kid with the broken legs imaginary friend. But then she has all these goddamn imaginary friends. So I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I was thinking it was something along that. Not, spoiler alert, the big fucking reveal is, oh my God, the Ryan Reynolds character, who initially was a bit creepy when he's sneaking inside a 9-year-old girl's room. Okay, that was a little creepy. But this Ryan Reynolds character, who we've come to know and love, and he starts off as a curmudgeon, and what the hell's going on with this character, and he's the only human among all these imaginary characters. It turns out he's an imaginary friend too. So he's the little girl's imaginary friend, and he's kind of like the pimp in the box for the other imaginary friends. So this kid's got quite the imagination, and the reason why Calvin was so somber earlier when he's first meeting this kid, or she's first meeting him, is because he's sad that she does not remember him. However, you could kind of make a fucking point here. How is she interacting with him if she doesn't remember him? Like, she has to remember him on some psychological level if they're palling around, right? So, I mean, like I said, this is not a perfectly tuned instrument of a film, but it's good enough to get you through, because all the emotions. Now, here's another wonderful thing, folks, because you find people in your comments have been saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, how do you have all these wonderful insights? Well, I've been in movies myself, okay, assholes. In fact, there's a children's movie, a kids movie, that I'm in called Mr. Birthday that had some similar themes to this one, although Mr. Birthday was filmed 4 fucking years ago and is properly distributed, okay, and has some people you might know. My good buddy there, Eric Roberts is in it, and so forth. So Mr. Birthday kind of had a little bit of themes like this, but not quite. Like this movie obviously had a much bigger budget and so forth, although, Mr. Birthday, to its credit, is fully released. You can see it. But this movie obviously had a budget probably 100 times greater than that one, which is fine. But yeah, I did enjoy it. And once again, at the end of the movie, seeing all these Hollywood elite, all the people that people say they hate, the Hollywood elite, the Brad Pitts, the Amy Schumers, everyone hates all these people, yet here they are providing this entertainment. what's this vehicle now has got some type of thing going on. This vehicle has got some type of situation. It's like what the fuck is going on in this world? It's like this vehicle. I don't know if it's a security guard or whatever the fuck. We might have it's like a weird night in this parking lot. So anyway, I thought the movie was good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, all the Hollywood elites that everyone hates, they all did the voices for all these characters. And people always say shit like that. Oh, these Hollywood elites, they're such horrible goddamn people. Yet you go see the fucking movies they're in and they entertain your asses off, people. So what are you complaining about? So I liked the fucking movie. Amy Schumer as the fucking the fucking gummy bear. I didn't recognize her voice. Like I said, I watched the whole goddamn movie waiting for Steve Carell to pop in, and he was the fucking blue thing all along. So, I mean, I guess they did a convincing job of convincing me, because I didn't recognize a lot of these Hollywood elites. Brad Pitt as Keith, I didn't even know who the fuck that was. Louis Gossett Jr. as the teddy bear, 93 years old teddy bear. That's wonderful. Okay, you might be saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, should I stick around to the end credits? I did. In fact, I really had to use the facilities, and I was, the theater was so close to the men's room, I could actually go to the men's room and still hear the end credits and come back in time to see that the only thing that happened after the official, roll credits were ended was a little nice tribute to Louis Gossett Jr. as the teddy bear. I didn't realize. I don't remember if I knew that he passed away, to tell you the truth, but apparently so, because it said in memory of. So there you go, folks. I got to give this one a big, strong rating. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I could be cynical. I could just give it 4. I could just do whatever the fuck I want. If there was any type of feeling of, oh, this movie, maybe the music, and I just say this because it wasn't that the music was bad. It just felt like every other Pixar, Disney, family, big budget film where they have the whimsical orchestra music, the music that kind of like pushes every emotion. It just was very standard issue. I mean, no offense to the musicians. They did a wonderful job. But I just felt like it wasn't unique, okay, like the unicorn in this movie. Also, this is, I don't know if they're trying to make a product with this movie, trying to make action figures or stuffed plush dolls. They could make quite a killing with this movie, I would think, if they did make stuffed animals with these characters. I did thought that the invisible imaginary friend was kind of funny. That was kind of meta, as they say. Who was my favorite? I thought the glass of ice, that's pretty inventive. Who the fuck has a glass of ice as an invisible friend? The invisible ice, when he's about to get drunk by Blue, he's like, this is my life in a nutshell. That's funny. What else? I don't know. You had your standard issue shit, like your fucking unicorns and your purple dragons and stuff. I'm trying to think if I had a particular favorite imaginary friend. I thought that the grandma's thing was kind of cool, like very specific, like this aristocratic broom or whatever the fuck she was, lady. I don't know. Maybe the glass of ice, just because it was kind of a cool, like, adults, like a glass of ice, that could be an adult's imaginary friend. What I was gonna say, which I'll say now, I don't think I ever had an imaginary friend. Maybe I have to go back to the deep recesses of my brain and remind myself. I had action figures that I, played with, and I drew images, okay? And you can see on one artist, Mike Messier, my wonderful drawings. You can read my wonderful book, Fighter Play Basketball, A Distance from Avalon. You can buy all these things on Amazon, okay? But I don't recall ever specifically having, like, some type of Wilson volleyball or whatever the fuck imaginary friend. I just don't think I did. You know what I mean? So, not that I'm holding any begrudgings against anyone that did or didn't. I just don't recall that I did that type of thing. Now, I remember the wrestler Rick Steiner had his fucking Alex or whatever the fuck. I just don't think I did this type of nonsense. So anyway, I like the movie, even as someone who was a non-imaginary friend kid. MikeMessier.com. Subscribe to Mike Messier. One Mike Messier for your movie reviews. One Man in the Camera Films for my stuff. Goodbye.